Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's me again. It's only been about a week. I know, you're just as surprised as I am. But here I am, back and larger than life. Well, actually, that's not true. I am no longer larger than life. I'm about the same size as life, and I'm working on the downward side of that. I've lost, I don't know, 20 or so pounds in the last or two, give or take. I'm not really doing anything different. It's not like I've changed and suddenly become Joe Gym Body or anything. I think a lot of it has to do with I am no longer stress eating or eating because I'm bored. Now I'm eating with a purpose. That purpose being because food is yummy. Well, that's not entirely true. That's not the only purpose. The purpose is to be alive and stay alive and, things like that. People tend to like you better when you're alive than the alternative. I don't know why that is. People are weird. What can I tell you? I wanted to squeeze in one more episode of this podcast of mine before the end of the year. I know in some parts of the world it's already 2023. No reports have been incoming yet, so I assume that people are surviving the time change and the year change. One hopes anyway. To all those of you who are hearing this on New Year's Eve, Happy New Year's. To those of you that have already had New Year's Eve and are on January 1st, well, how's the future? Hope it's alright. I've gone back and forth on what to name this. 22, a wrap up, 23 skidoo, because of the upcoming year. I don't know. By the time I'm done and this has gone through post production, I will have some sort of title for this. I'm going to go with the working title of 23 skidoo. That's an old timey phrase that means to leave quickly or being forced to leave quickly by someone else. So it ties in because I for one, although I've had a very good year, I am very happy to see 2022 go because honestly, in terms of a lot of the BS that we put up in 19 and 20 and 21, unfortunately, some of those same bad things have lingered into 2022. It's not 2022's fault, it's just a year. It's like whatever you make of it. And there are some people that have made it a pretty terrible, unbearable thing. So, that being said, I've had a great year. I've made a lot of new friends this year. I joined a Facebook group that, although it somewhat makes me sound materialistic, I'm not really. In my defense, I look at it as saving things from the dump or the trash or recycle bin or whatever. It's a group called Good Shit Long Beach, and I hate, I don't usually use those kind of words here, but that is the name of the group, so we'll just call it good stuff. But what they do is it's a bunch of people that have things they no longer want and they don't want to send them, to the garbage or wherever. So they go on there and they post their things and people come along and say, "Ooh, I like that," or "I would like to have that." And it's giver's choice usually. Whoever they want to give it to, they give the gift to. And I've gotten a ton of art supplies and crafting supplies. I've got yarn for days. I've got other stuff that people have given me. And my roommate and I have given away a lot of stuff as well. So we got that going for us. As they say. As the kids say, it slaps. I know. I had to squeeze in one more dad joke, right? There's probably more lurking in there somewhere. So we'll see. I have to adjust the camera here, sorry. What else? I hate when I have a whole thing in my head that I figure out should take about 15 minutes to talk about, and it turns out that not so much. Once I start talking about it, it's like all those things just go away, and I'm stuck staring at the clock saying, "Oh my goodness, what do I do now?" Here's what I'm hoping for 2023. I'm hoping that our government is not as stupid as it was in 2022. I'm hoping that people are smarter in general as it goes. What else? I'm hoping for a prosperous insurance business. Hope that goes really well too. Oh goodness, lots of things to talk about. What else am I hoping for? Think. Well, let's go back a little bit. 2022, as I said, for some people it was great. Some people not so much, especially all the celebrities that we lost this year, celebrities and musicians and whoever, and it's a long list. It really is. Barbara Walters is the latest casualty of this. She was 93, so I hope she had a great long life. I was never personally a fan of hers. I just didn't like her interview style. I thought she could be mean and nasty, and she was often mean to her interviewees, which is never a good thing. If you have that kind of power, the power of the microphone, the power of the camera, the power of whatever, then you should do it in such a way that edifies people and makes them feel better and treats them better and using your ability for good. I don't understand the people that are mean and full of invective and just nasty people that get behind a microphone and think, well, this is my venue, this is my soapbox, I can say what I want, I can do what I want. And honestly, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's how you should be as a person. I think that's wrong, and I think, well, it's stupid to abuse the position, or not so much office, but the position you have where you are in a place where you have the ability to help people instead of harming them. I will never, ever, ever use this podcast to harm anyone. I will always speak the truth wherever it leads me. I may not always like it. I may not always be happy about it, but I'm always going to be honest with you about everything. I see no reason to hide. Well, there are some private things that I don't think need to be shared with anybody, and those things will never, ever happen here. So going forward into the new year, I plan on doing more podcasts more often, at least once a week, hopefully more. You never know. I really do not want to backslide into here's a cast, there's a cast, somewhere in there's another cast. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be more predictable. I want to be more consistent. I want to be more accurate in the things that I talk about and report. After all, if you can't be better in the new year, then what's the point, right? So that's my goal, is to be better in the new year, to be more open about things, and try and help more people with things. And I think that's a good goal for any podcaster, is to improve what you're doing and to get better at your craft. I see no reason to stagnate and be in the same place year after year after year. To me, there's no point in that. It's just a silly thing to do. So as we go into the new year, I want everybody to be better than they were last year or in 2022. I want people to be happier and more fulfilled. I seriously hope that more people are led to God and led to Christ. I hope that my podcast can do that for you. I hope that I influence that in some way. And even if I don't lead you there, I want to give you the steps to get there. I want to give you sort of a roadmap or an atlas of how to get to the throne and how to be closer to Him. I am far from anyone that's anywhere near qualified to share this good news with you, but I feel that God is leading me, and as long as I feel that God is leading me, I'm doing what I feel He wants me to do and where I'm being led, then He will give me the words that I need. He will give me the tools that I need. And He will help me lead as many to Him as possible, because ultimately that is the goal, is to get to heaven and to spend eternity there rather than the alternative. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in these things. I know there's a lot of atheists and a lot of just non-believers that believe once you die, that's it. You become worm food and there's no further purpose, there's no further actions or activities, and I think that's a sad way to live, is to live your life and then boom, done, no more. And I don't understand why you'd want to live that way. And as I always say, I'm not judging you. That's your belief system. That's how you were raised. That's how you were brought up. That's just how you became one day. Based on experiences that you may have had or not had, or you don't understand the reasoning behind what we do or why we are the way we are. And that's fine. That's your thing. I tell people, it's your life. Live it the way you want to live it. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you how to live or how to do things. I can gently lead. I can kind of push and nudge along a little bit, but ultimately, in the end, if you don't want to go that way, then you're not going to go that way, and there's nothing I can say or do that will convince you. But until you draw your final breath, it's never too late to make that change and to become a believer and live a better life. Because I think the closer I get to Him and the more I spend time in His Word and the more I study His Word and the more things I do that are Christ-like, the more people will see Christ in me. And that's where I want to get to. That's where I want to be. I want to be someone that looks at, someone that people look at and they say, I want to be like him. He's got this inner glow and he's got this happiness about him. Now, am I happy all the time? Absolutely not. And I think that's part of the human condition, that we're never 100% happy. We're never 100% satisfied. And I don't think that's any indication that what I'm trying to do is wrong. I think I just haven't reached where He wants me to be yet. Am I happier? Absolutely. Do I feel better off? Absolutely. I sleep better at night. I feel better. I'm doing better. My roommate and my best friend have helped me immensely, more than they may ever know. So I'm very grateful for them in 2022. It's been a great year for both of us. Not so much for the marriage I had that ended. This is the first time I realized today, or I thought about today, that I'm going into a new year where I'm not married to someone, or I'm not married to that same person anymore. So this is all new territory for me. I've never, I can't say never entered a new year, but in the last 30 or so years, I haven't entered a new year without being married to someone, or partnered to someone, or whatever. So it's a weird kind of feeling for me, kind of like free fall, like, ooh, what's the new year going to bring for me? Who knows? I think that's part of the excitement, and I think that's part of the fun of life and living, is to just go into it eyes wide open, full of excitement and excited about the possibilities that it's going to bring to you. I think that's the best way to go through life, honestly. You could be dour and you could be sad and you could be grumpy, I suppose. That's your prerogative. You do what you want. I feel bad for you if that's the way you want to live your life. As I close out, I want to say thank you to my brother Jack for always asking, hey, when's the new podcast coming out? To Brian and Jeff, my other brothers, for listening. To my mom and dad for listening. To my 12 or 13 loyal listeners that listen to every podcast every week, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here for every episode. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. And if you go to any one of the major podcast sites, some of them will give you a spot to leave feedback. I don't know which ones they are because I don't use them. So I really don't know. But if you find one and you want to leave feedback, absolutely do that. I appreciate it very much. And this will be the year that I get my sister to listen and other people that I know to listen. And I hope that I could edify even more people and help them in whatever phase of their life that they're in at this point. So as I wrap up, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope it's a great one. I hope that God keeps you happy, healthy, and safe. He brings you closer to the people that you want to be closer to. He removes the trouble people from your life, because we all have those. Don't think of it as Him removing a person from your life. Think of it as Him taking something out that doesn't belong. As always, this is just my 2 cents worth. Your mileage may vary. I love you all, and God bless.